How difficult would it be to finish the entire game with a throw barbarian? Let's find out. The rules for this run are very simple. I can only use thrown weapons, I can't do any melee attacks, and I can use my personal stash only, so no shared stash. The first thing I had to do was to get some thrown weapons, and I found some javelins under a rock. Now I'm ready. The damage was surprisingly strong at the beginning. The only problem I had was that I had to go back to town very often to get more weapons. Then I finished the Den of Evil and went straight to Bloodraven, and of course, since I didn't have to run after her with melee attacks, she was very fast to kill. Then I got my first mercenary. Wendy, welcome to the party. Shortly after, when I was in the underground passage, I dinged level 6 and I've put my first point in throwing mastery. This is the first skill I'm going to max. When it's maxed out, it gives very high bonus to attack rating and damage, very high chance of critical strike and chance to pierce, but most importantly, it will have very high chances to not consume quantity and to replenish quantity on critical strike. So basically, when this is maxed out, your thrown weapons will never run out. Then I arrived at the Tree of Iniphis and absolutely destroyed the Bruce. Even with very basic javelins, the damage early on is really good. Shortly after, I arrived in Tristram, then I killed Griswold without any issue. Then I saved the old man Deckard Cain from his captivity. And right after, I went straight to the Countess. The only rune word I need for now is stealth, so I need a Tal and a Neth rune. Unfortunately, there are no rune words for thrown weapons. On the first run, she dropped an Eth rune. I'm already halfway there. Then a unique ghost in the Tower Stellar level 2 dropped something absolutely crazy for me. It was pretty much the best upgrade I could find at that level. A set sash. What can it be? It's Death's Guard, and it has the Can't Be Frozen stat. I can't believe I found an item giving me the Can't Be Frozen stat in Act 1 normal difficulty. This is an insane upgrade. Then I kept running the Countess, and after a few runs, I dinged level 12 so I can finally use the double throw skill. And she dropped 2 tier runes and 1 Eth rune, but also 2 magic throwing axes. The first one gives 5% chances to cast amplify damage on striking. This is amazing for me. And the second one gives 1 to mana after each kill, which will be much needed with double throw. But even with this, I still had mana issue. I was out of mana most of the time, so I was not able to use double throw. The Countess finally dropped my Tal rune, so as soon as I reach level 17, I can make a stealth. And now, to solve my mana problem, I bought a helm with 2 open sockets from Charcy and made the Nadir rune word with an F rune and a Tear rune. The 2 mana after each kill will be very useful. Then I went straight to Andy, and surprisingly, I can tank her without any problem. I thought it would be a bit harder than this, but it was quite easy. And unfortunately, she didn't drop anything for now. The first thing I did when I arrived in Act 2 was to get a new mercenary with the Blessed Aim aura. That will help me a lot with my attack rating. And then I went back to farm Andy for 10 runs to see what I would get. The only thing I found in these 10 runs is some rare throwing axes, giving some lightning damage and 5 mana and lifesteal. That's pretty good. And now I'm level 17, so I went to Farah to buy an armor with 2 open sockets. I got a ring mail, and here it is. Tal, Eth, Stealth. The 25 faster run walk will make all the walking we are about to do much faster. Shortly after, I ran straight to Radamant, and it was quite a simple fight. Just stand back and spam double throw. Then I went straight to the cube and made my way to the staff. And the fight against Fangskin to get the amulet has never been that easy. I really didn't expect this, but until now, Throw Barbarian is much stronger than a Boazon. So I took the amulet and went straight to the summoner. And yes, I destroyed him. But then something really stupid happened. Remember my belt, Death's Guard, that I can't be frozen? Well, that's a lie. I can be frozen. The Holy Freeze aura for some reason completely bypasses the can't be frozen stat. And there's absolutely no way I defeat Duriel if I'm frozen like this. My attacks are way too slow. So I had to go back to town several times to resurrect my mercenary to make him tank for a few seconds so I could stand back and attack Duriel. And after doing this many times, he was almost dead. I tried my luck kiting him around and I succeeded. He died. Unfortunately, no drops. Then I immediately went on my way to get the organs in Act 3. I made my way to Kalim's Eye, then on my way to the brain in the Flayer dungeon, I found a very good Grand Charm, giving 24 fire resist and 7 faster run walk. For now, this is exactly what I need. Then I made my way to the brain and to the heart. Then I thought crabs might be a bit challenging, but when I got there, I ran back a little bit and only one of them followed me, so I got him without any issue. And then they all came either one by one or in groups of 2, so it was not very difficult. I destroyed the compelling orb and went straight to Mephisto. And this fight was actually much harder than I expected it to be. My damage on Mephisto is very low, and my mercenary couldn't survive more than a few seconds. And as soon as Mephisto targeted me, I realized that I have to be very careful in this fight. But after a few minutes, I got him. Unfortunately, he dropped nothing and I really need upgrades. But instead of farming Mephisto, I went back to Travs. I found nothing for 30 minutes, so I decided to gamble for some weapons. Unfortunately, good unique thrown weapons are very difficult to find in normal and nightmare difficulty. So the best method of getting good weapons for now is with gambling. But lucky for me, I found some very good balanced axes. Acceptable damage but with very nice bonus to attack rating and most importantly, mana steal. And I even found a second one. It's not that good, but it's better than what I'm currently using. So I went back to farm Mephisto. And after a few runs, he dropped a very nice set plated belt. And the chest behind him dropped a rare amulet. The rare amulet gives 34 to life, 36 to mana, and 32 magic find. My current amulet only gives 30 to life, so that's a very nice upgrade. And the belt is Saigon's belt. I won't use it for now because I would lose the can't be frozen stat from my current stash, but if I find more Saigon's pieces, I might use it later. Then I went straight to Act 4 to get my 2 free skill points from Izwool. I cleared the mobs around him quite easily, but Izzy himself was very tanky, and after about 2 minutes of me spamming double throw, he died. Shortly after, I went to Hephasto, and he was very weak. I got the hammer and destroyed the Mephisto Soulstone. And I got an Am rune, which is the highest rune you can get on normal difficulty. Then I went to the Chaos Sanctuary and popped the seals. The Grand Vizier of Chaos and his minions were very easy to kill. Then something very uncommon happened. Lord Decease and his minions spawned right on top of me next to the seal. Thankfully, my mercenary and myself didn't die, and we got them all. And then on the last seals, the Inflictor of Souls came directly to me and I killed him in a few seconds. And now it's time to face Diablo for the first time. He killed my mercenary right at the beginning of the fight, but it was still pretty easy. Since I can't be frozen, I can just stand right in front of him. The first half of the fight was quite simple, just standing there and casting double throw. But then he started spamming his lightning skill every few seconds, so the first half took 30 seconds and the second half took about 5 minutes, but ultimately I got him. Then right after the fight, I decided to make the lore rune word with Ort and Soul. So I went to Farah to buy a helm with 2 open sockets, and here it is, Ort, Soul, Lore. 1 to all skill, some energy, and 2 to mana after each kill. That's a very nice upgrade. And then I realized that for some reason I was not even using my stealth armor while I was fighting Diablo. I don't know why, but I equipped Eisenheart armor by mistake. I felt a little bit slower, and that's why. Then I went straight to Shank to get my socket quest and decided to farm Shank and Eldritch for a little bit. A few runs later, Shank dropped some very good war javelins. 22 to 57 damage. The max damage on this is more than double of what I'm currently using. That's a very good upgrade. Then about 20 minutes later, Shank dropped something else again. Some throwing spares with lower damage but 4% mana steal. That's a little bit better than what I'm using right now. And then I went to gamble some gold that I got while grinding and found some very good rare javelins. 11 to 28 damage but 23 to 51 fire damage and 1 to 13 light damage. That's a little bit better than the war javelins I just found. Then I went straight to Anya. With my new javelins, the brutes were very easy to kill. I saved Anya from her frozen state and took the scroll of resist from Mala. I have to admit, my resists are looking pretty good. Then I went directly to the enchants, and to my surprise, my mercenary was able to tank everything without any problem, so I just stood back and spammed double throw. Even though I was targeting Korlik, Madoc was the first one to die because of my piercing attacks. Then Korlik died a few seconds later, and then Talik obviously didn't stand a chance. I've put my additional point in natural resist, and I realized how strong it was. I only have 4 points into it right now, and it already gives me 35 all resist. This skill is much better than I thought it was. Then the minion waves were very easy. Even the fourth one, we could just stand there and tank everything, and there's nothing these Venom Lords could do to us. My life was barely even going down, but then the problems began. The minions of destruction came, and my mercenary didn't even survive 10 seconds. My damage is so low against them that I can't attack them in a group, because if I run away, their life will regen to the maximum very quickly, so I have to somehow take them one by one until they all die. I managed to run away and drag them to me one by one, but even like that, it was not easy. It was taking what felt like an eternity to kill only one of them, but it was the only way. I managed to kill the first one, then I dragged one more to me, but Lister was following close behind. I managed to kill the second one, and then I killed Lister about a minute later. Then it took me about 15 more minutes, but I managed to kill all of them one by one. That final minion wave took me half an hour, and then Baal. I quickly realized that my mercenary can't tank Bal at all, so I have to stay in melee range to tank him, otherwise he would just kill my mercenary. It was not a difficult fight, but it was very long. My damage is really starting to fall off now. I just stood there and attacked him over and over and over without doing much else. And after a few minutes, he's dead. Normal difficulty is over. Now, here comes Nightmare, and it will only get more and more difficult from now. By the way, only about 8% of my viewers are subscribed to my channel, so if you like videos like this, please click on the subscribe button. Thank you so much for your support. Then before going to Nightmare, I farmed Pindle Skin for some upgrades in XP. After a few dozen runs, some unique heavy boots drop from a normal Prowling Dead. This is Gorefoot. The 20 faster run walk and 2 mana steal are very good for me. Then 5 minutes later, Pindle drops something really amazing, a unique ghost armor, the Spirit Shroud. It gives 1 to all skill, but most importantly, can't be frozen. Yes! I can finally replace my set stash and use a belt with more potion slots. That's an amazing find. Right after that, I went in Nightmare for the first time and cleared the Den of Evil. And I absolutely destroyed Corpse Fire. Shortly after, I arrived at the Countess, and on the first Nightmare kill, she dropped 2 tier runes. Then I went straight to Andoriel, and that was a very hard fight. She destroyed my mercenary in the first few seconds. I was able to tank her for a bit, but I quickly ran out of potions. After refilling my potions in town and coming back to her, I did it. She's dead. Unfortunately, she didn't drop anything good. And as soon as I arrived in Act 2, I replaced my mercenary and got one with the Holy Freeze aura. The fight against Radamant was very simple. I just stood there while my mercenary was tanking his minions, and after about a minute, he's dead. I decided to go back to Andy and farm her for about an hour or two. On the second run, she dropped some very good unique greaves. Tier Hunch. It's nothing crazy, but the 10 all resist is very useful for Nightmare. A few runs later, Andoriel dropped an amazing upgrade, some rare throwing spares, doing 31 to 89 damage with some lifesteal. The damage seems a little bit lower than on my rare javelins Doom Spike, but double throw and throwing mastery both increase the damage based on the physical damage and ignore elemental damage, so my real damage is increased by more than double. For now, that's a much needed upgrade. Then about 10 minutes later, Andoriel dropped a very nice unique helm, Dust Sleep. That's pretty good for my mercenary. Then on the next run, a Dark One monster dropped a magic ring that I will be using for a long time, giving 119 attack rating and 25 magic find. That's an amazing upgrade for me. 15 minutes later, Andy dropped some very good set heavy boots, giving the highest amount of faster run walk in the game. Sanders boots. Faster run walk, attack rating, strength, and dexterity. That's a very nice find. Then on the next run, Andoriel dropped a unique ring. What is it going to be? Maynard. Well, at least the mana steal can be very useful for me, so I might use it. Then 2 rounds later, Andy dropped 2 things, a unique helm and a unique amulet. The unique helm is Coif of Glory, which is not very useful for me. The unique amulet is Nokozan Relic, which is nothing crazy but can still be very useful if I decide to do some trap runs later. A few minutes later, on my way to Andy, a champion ghoul dropped something crazy, a unique heavy belt. Yes, this is gold wrap. And on top of giving the flat 30 magic find, it also gives 10% increased attack speed, which is a crazy upgrade for me. Then 30 minutes later, a normal ghoul dropped something very cool for Nightmare difficulty. A Lum Rune. Normal ghouls from Nightmare have approximately 1 chance in 46,000 to drop a Lum Rune, so that's an amazing find. Then a unique ghoul just before Andy's room dropped a rare Barbarian helm, giving 1 to Barbarian skills with 1 to Battle Order, increased speed, and Iron Skin, with some faster hit recovery, life, and resist. That's a pretty cool upgrade. And now with all of this, let's continue Nightmare. The Maggot Lair as a throw Barbarian is actually pretty cool. All the monsters are perfectly aligned, so my piercing attacks get rid of them all very quickly. I made my way to the staff without any problem. Then I took the Amulet of the Viper and made my way to the Summoner that I absolutely destroyed for the second time. And then Duriel. Surprisingly, my mercenary was able to tank him, so it was quite a simple fight. I just had to stand back and attack him. He was very tanky, but he died in about 2 minutes, and he didn't drop anything that I need. Then as usual, I don't want to spend too much time in Act 3, so I went directly to get the organs. I made my way to Kalimzai in under 3 minutes. Then from there, it only took me 10 minutes to find the brain. The path to get the heart was very simple too. Then the councils and travs were quite easy. I just killed the first one, then I ran away to separate the rest and killed them one by one. I took the flail and destroyed the orb. And then Mephisto. It was a very long fight, but again, my mercenary was surprisingly able to survive. Mephisto was very tanky and I had to go back to town to refill my potions many times, but after a few minutes, we got him. Unfortunately, no good drops. Then I decided to farm the councils to get some drops and XP. After a few minutes, a council member dropped some very good unique demon hide gloves. Venom Grip, the 5 lifesteal and 5 crushing blow are very useful for me, and the poison resist will be much needed later in the run. Talking of poison resist, 20 minutes later a normal council member dropped an amazing small charm, giving 10 poison resist. That's a very nice find. Then on the very next run, Torque Ice Fist dropped the best weapons I found yet. Some rare balanced knives, giving 1 to Barbarian skills with very high maximum damage and attack rating per level, and even some poison damage for good measure. And that bonus to maximum damage is way too high to be from the Fool's mod, so I'm not sure how these weapons can give such a high bonus to max damage per level. If you know how it's possible, please let me know in the comments. Then I farmed Mephisto for a little bit, and after a few runs, he dropped 2 things at once, some rare boots and a set armor. The rare boots give 40 cold resist and 40 poison resist. Unfortunately, there's no faster run walk, so I will not use them, but it's the first time I see rare boots with 2 resist at 40, and the armor is Hamusu's Adamant, which is a very nice upgrade for my mercenary. Now, let's keep going. I ran straight to Isuel in Act 4, and even though he was very tanky and took a very long time to kill, he was not a threat at all. He was not even able to do any damage to my mercenary. Then I went in the River of Flame to hunt for Hephasto, and he was also very easy. The highest rune we can get from the Hellforge in Nightmare is an rune, which would be really amazing, but I got a Hell rune. Well, at least I got some gems to resell for gold. Then I went directly in the Chaos Sanctuary, and the sealed bosses were very easy. And like in normal, Diablo killed my mercenary right at the beginning of the fight. Again, I just had to dodge his spells and attack him, which is quite easy to do with a Throw Barbarian. Not gonna lie, I thought Throw Barbarian was a weak, unviable build, but now that I actually tried it, I realized that it's much stronger than I thought it would be. Unfortunately, Diablo didn't drop anything good. Then I went directly to Shank for the socket quest, and yes, I totally obliterated him. And like in normal, the brutes guarding Anya in the frozen river stood absolutely no chance. For now, nothing can stand in my way, but things will change very soon. I saved Anya from her frozen state and took the scroll of resist from Mala. Look at these resists, isn't this beautiful to see? Finally, a run where my resists are not all in the negative. It feels so good. And now, the enchants. I thought it would be challenging, but in reality, the most challenging part of this fight was when Madoc died and almost killed me. Then we just focused on Korlik, and even though he was very tanky, he died in about a minute. Then Talik couldn't do anything and died. Then I ran straight to Baal's throne, and surprisingly, my mercenary was able to tank the 4th wave without dying. We killed them all, and then with the 5th wave, I expected a challenge even worse than in normal difficulty. But surprise, surprise, my mercenary was able to survive. He tanked all of them while I just stood back and killed them one by one. I couldn't believe it. I expected this fight to last for like 1 hour. But no, it was surprisingly quite easy. And now, Baal. And my mercenary was able to tank him too without any problem. It was a very long fight because he kept teleporting around and I had to make some trips back to town to refill my potions, but after a few minutes, we got him. Just like that, Nightmare Baal is dead. And now, the real challenge begins. I wanted to test the waters in the hell difficulty, so I attacked the first unique pack that I found, and I got deleted in about 2 seconds. So I'm going back to farm Nightmare Mephisto. After about 30 minutes, Mephisto dropped some very good set demon hide gloves. This is Horizon's gloves. Venom Grip gives some lifesteal and poison resist, but these gloves give me some attack rating, 5% more crushing blow, and a huge amount of fire damage. Then I didn't find anything for about 1 hour, and I decided to gamble some throwing knives, and I found this. 3 to War Cries. That's absolutely crazy to use in my weapon swap. Then I thought it was enough grinding and went back to hell. It took me about 15 minutes to clear the Den of Evil. My damage is starting to fall off really hard now, but still I want to keep going. So after clearing the Den of Evil, I ran all the way to Andariel. And yeah, it was not a very good idea. I tried to fight her face to face, but she just destroys me. There's no way I can fight her like that. The only way I can kill her is by kiting her around the barrels like this. Run around the barrels, attack her a few times, run, attack her, run, attack her for about 15 minutes. Ultimately, I did it, but I knew I was not ready to keep going in the hell difficulty like this. So I went back to Mephisto. After a few runs, he dropped a very good armor for my mercenary, a unique gothic plate. Rattle Cage. 25% chance of crushing blow is amazing against bosses, and 2 charms drop from the chest behind Mephisto. A large charm giving 5 to dexterity and 12 poison resist, and a grand charm giving 7 faster run walk. I will keep both of them for now. 2 runs later, Mephisto dropped an absolutely crazy upgrade for me, pretty much my best in slot belt. Razor Tail. This is insane, I really couldn't believe it. 33 chances of piercing attack is completely crazy for me. It doesn't help on bosses, but it helps on everything else. Then about 30 minutes later, Maffer Dragon Hand dropped a very good Grand Charm. This one gives 29 fire resist. My resists were amazing in normal and nightmare, but I really need more resist for the hell difficulty. Then it was YN Voidbringer's turn to drop a very nice Grand Charm, and this one gives 27 cold res. I'm getting really packed on charms now. 10 minutes later, Mephisto dropped a very good upgrade for my mercenary, a unique low chamber axe, the Meat Scraper. Fast attack speed with 10 lifesteal and 50% chances of open wounds. That's a very nice find. Then Mephisto dropped another crazy belt, a unique Demon Hide Sash. String of Ears, but it's Eth. The lifesteal and damage reductions would have been an amazing upgrade to help me tank bosses, but with a durability of 17, I won't be able to use it for a very long time, so unfortunately, it's pretty much useless. Then about 20 minutes later, Mephisto dropped a crazy upgrade, some unique battle darts, Death Bit. Finally a unique weapon. Unfortunately, I didn't know about that at first, but I quickly realized that the attack rating, mana and lifesteal and deadly strike only apply to this weapon. They are what we call local stats and not global stats, which make this weapon a lot less powerful than it seems at first glance. But it's still an upgrade for now, so I can't complain. Then I was capped on gold and decided to gamble for some thrown weapons, and I found these crazy good flying axes. 35 to 157 damage, very fast attack speed and extra light damage on top of it. This is an amazing upgrade, and even though I just found that bit, I already found a replacement. Then I kept gambling for the rest of my gold and I found this. Some rare Franciscas giving 2 to War Cries. I now have +5 to War Cries on my weapon swap. Then I was tired of farming Mephisto and decided to give Pindleskin a shot. Right at the beginning, I horked a very nice small charm, giving 11 to life and 8 light resist. That's a very nice find. 30 minutes later, Pindleskin dropped an absolutely crazy upgrade, some unique battle boots. Yes, you guessed it, this is War Travelers, but guess what? It's Eth, of course. 37 magic fine War Traveler found on Nightmare Pindleskin. But they're Eth. I can still use them for farming though. I stay far back so I don't take much damage anyway. With this, I'm now at 129 magic fine, which is pretty good. Then 10 minutes later, a Defiled Warrior dropped a unique amulet. It's the Mayhem Curio. 10% bonus to attack rating with 10 to all attributes and 10 all resist. It's nothing crazy, but it's not too bad. But a few minutes later, Pindleskin dropped another amulet. A rare one this time, giving a bunch of resist with 5 mana steal and 2 life steal. That's actually a very good one. Then I went straight to Radamant, and even though my gear is much better than it was before, it was quite a long fight, but ultimately, I got my free skill point. Shortly after, I made my way to the Maggot Lair, and it was taking forever to kill everything. It was quite easy and quick on Nightmare, but on Hell, it's a completely different story. So I took the staff and I went back to grinding. But now I tried something different, and it really paid off. Instead of farming Mephisto, Pindle, or Andy, I went in the pit in the Hell difficulty. It's pretty challenging, but if I'm careful and I stay back, it's a very good farming spot, and these monsters can drop every items in the game. And after about 50 minutes of grinding, I killed the unique pack, then I horked the unique monster, and I found this. A Vex rune. If there's one thing I was not expecting to find, it was a high rune. I have no use for it right now, but I might use it later. About 20 minutes later, a unique Darkstalker dropped an amazing upgrade for me. A set diadem. This is Mavina's True Sight. 30 increased attack speed on a helm is absolutely insane for a throw barbarian. And then with this upgrade, I decided to stop grinding and try to finish the game. So I went back to Act 2 and got the Amulet of the Viper. Then I made my way to the Summoner, and thankfully for me, he was on the first path. And then Duriel. It was a pretty long fight, and the only strategy I could use was to make my mercenary tank and use full rejuve potions on him because regular potions were not enough to keep him alive. But he died right at the end of the fight when I was out of full rejuves. I went back in town to resurrect him, and when I came back, Duriel died within a few seconds. And he dropped my favorite armor in the game to identify, a unique Dusk Shroud, Ormus Robes. But it rolled very bad and with only the Blaze skill. And again, as soon as I entered Act 3, I went directly to get Kalim's eye. Then I made my way to the brain without any issue, and for the first time of my life, I found the sewers level 2 in only a few seconds. It was literally right next to the entrance. So I took the heart and went directly to Trav's. 4 normal council members came alone at the front without any uniques, and after killing them one by one, I dragged a unique council member to the front to kill him alone, took his flail, and destroyed the orb. I don't think I would be able to kill all of them together, so I went directly to Mephisto. He was very tanky and he could kill my mercenary and myself very quickly, so it was a very long fight. I had to resurrect my mercenary several times to make him tank, and ultimately, after about 5 minutes, he died. Then I ran straight to his wall, and as soon as I found him, he had some things to tell me in French. Ouais, moi aussi j'ai chaud, mon petit Easy. My mercenary was stalling behind, so I went into a town portal to bring him to me without dragging a dozen of monsters, and we fought Iswol, and he was much faster to kill than he was in Nightmare. Thanks for the 2 free skill points, easy boy. Then I went hunting for Hephasto, and he was immune to physical. The highest rune we can get on the hell difficulty is a gold rune. I really want to have a chance to have a nice rune from the Hell Forge, so I don't want to skip this quest. We attacked him, and attacked him, and after about 8 minutes, he finally died. I took the hammer and destroyed the Mephisto Soulstone, and I got a Hell rune. Like in Nightmare. That's terrible, but hey, what can I do? Then I went in the Chaos Sanctuary and popped the seals. The Grand Vizier of Chaos was immune to physical and took quite some time to kill, but we got him. Then, Lord Decease and his minions obliterated my mercenary. I had to run and kite his minions around to kill them one by one. Then I was able to focus on Lord Decease, and even though he's very strong, he's not very tanky. And he dropped a set amulet. What is it? Unfortunately, only Kathan's amulet. Then for the last seals, I knew the Venom Lords could be a major problem if I faced them all at the same time. So I leaped above them and ran away, and thankfully, the Infector of Souls came to me only with a few of his minions. I kited them around while focusing the Infector of Souls as much as possible, and after a few minutes of jumping back and forth and attacking them, he died. Now, Diablo. I didn't even resurrect my mercenary for this fight because I knew he would die in only 1 or 2 seconds. So I just stayed back and focused on evading Diablo's spells. And even if he manages to attack me here and there, I'm so tanky now that I can survive without any problem. And after a few minutes of running around, he died. And he dropped a unique partisan. This is Pierre Tombal Couant. I can't use it, but it can be a pretty good budget weapon for Whirlwind Barbarian. Then I ran straight to Shank for the Socket quest. He died without any problem. Then I made good use of the leap skill and decided to just save Anya from her frozen state without fighting anything. I took the beautiful Scroll of Resist from Mala, and again, it feels very good to do a playthrough without having all my resist below 0. Then I went straight to the entrance. I thought it would be a very difficult fight, but I managed to bring Madoc and Talik into a corner. And Talik was focusing my mercenary while Madoc was focusing on me. So it was pretty easy. We killed Madoc, then Talik couldn't do anything and died a few seconds later. Then Korlik took a very long time to kill because he had stone skin, but he was also only focusing me. For some reason, he was completely ignoring my mercenary, and he was only jumping on me over and over and over. And I didn't have many potions left, so I had to be very careful. It took about 10 minutes, but finally, the enchants are dead for the last time. Now, the minion waves. The first 3 waves were very simple, but I knew there was no way I could beat the 4th wave that easily. And after running around the map for about a minute, they started coming to me like this. They just kept running in all directions right in front of me without attacking me at all. It took a very long time, but I managed to kill most of them like that. Then I killed the boss, and then I killed the last one. And now, the 5th wave. There was absolutely no way I could fight them all at the same time, so I tried running around the map to separate them, and it took about 10 minutes of running, but I managed to separate 3 of them, and then I just leaped across the map while attacking them, over and over and over. I did this until I killed all of them. These minions alone took me 25 minutes. Then I killed Lister the Tormentor, and without his minions, he was not that much of a problem. And now, Baal. He was not very dangerous, but it was a very long fight. I had to go back to town several times to refill my potions. He summoned this clone very early in the fight. I was doing so little damage to him and his clone that I felt like my crushing blow was not working for some reason. But other than being a very long fight, it was not very difficult. And after about 15 minutes of attacking, running around and going back to town to get more potions, we got him. Baal is dead for the last time. Game over. I did it. That was a very fun run, and honestly, I really didn't expect the Throw Barbarian build to be that strong and enjoyable to play. It felt like a much stronger and tankier version of the Boazon, and since you can attack everything from a distance, it's very surprising, but it's probably a much less gear dependent build than all the other most common Barbarian builds. If you're wondering what kind of build to try for your next playthrough, I really suggest this one. It's really fun and I'm sure you will not regret it. Next season will start very soon and I will be posting a lot more videos, so please subscribe to my channel if you enjoy my content. Massive thanks to the channel members for supporting the channel. Thank you so much for your support, and thanks to all of you for watching this video until the end, and as always, happy grinding.